Hello everyone, my name is Mirko and welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another brand new Apex video. And in today's video I'm going to be talking to you guys about how to find your perfect sensitivity, and I'm also going to be discussing field of view and why I have actually lowered my field of view. If you're going ahead and enjoy the video, be sure to drop in a like down below and make sure you're clicking the bell to turn on notifications if you haven't already, so you're notified of every new video that gets posted. So I'm sure most of you guys have heard people say there is no such thing as the best sensitivity for everyone to use, and they are right, the people that say that, because sensitivity is something personal and everyone is different, no human is the same. But the sensitivity you're currently using might not be best suited to you, and you might be using the completely wrong sensitivity. So as I'm sure most of you guys are aware, there's two sensitivity options. You've got your standard sensitivity, which is just your moving around sensitivity, and then you've got your aiming sensitivity as well. Now if we first talk about the standard sensitivity, which actually affects your hip fire, your moving around as well, and it's actually really crucial, it's just as important as your ADS sensitivity. Now what we're trying to prioritize here is actually your aiming and your accuracy when aiming. Now one thing I really quickly want to mention is just how annoying the sensitivity options are in this game, because as I'm sure you're aware, it goes up to 8 as the max. Now if you just change it by 1, that has a huge effect on your sensitivity, and you can really tell the difference in game, and it's really annoying. I feel like they should increase the amount of sensitivity options you have from 8 to maybe 14 like other games, because then you can just tone it ever so slightly and do the small adjustments. But now if you move it up by 1 or down by 1, there is an absolute huge difference to your game. So if any Apex devs are watching, which let's be honest, no one's going to be watching a small channel like mine, but if in the million chance someone's watching, please, just please sort the sensitivity out. Give us more options and let us do the small adjustments to our sensitivity. So as I said earlier, we're going to be prioritizing aim, and your hip fire is basically determined on your sensitivity. Now I rock a 4 sensitivity. Now what I done a few days ago is I tried to increase it to 5, and basically what you want to be aware of when you are hip firing is the over aiming. Over aiming is where you've aimed past the intended target because your sensitivity is just too high than you would like. And if you're doing this on a frequent basis where you just find yourself pulling your cursor over the enemies more often than not, then you might want to decrease it by 1, but you want to make sure you're only decreasing it by 1 every single time. You don't want to jump, for example, from a 6 to a 3 or 4, because that's just a huge jump and that's not giving your fingers and your muscle memory enough time to adjust. You don't want to throw yourself straight into the deep end and completely change sensitivity. You want to just do it 1 by 1 and slowly start adjusting each time. But more importantly, you want to make sure you're comfortable with hip firing and moving around, because as I said, I moved to a 5 a few days ago and I was okay on a 5, but I just generally felt very uncomfortable and I didn't feel like I was as accurate as to using a 4. That's why I changed back to a 4. Now if I was to go into a 5 and show you guys what it's like, I will be all over the place, because as I said, there is a huge jump from each sensitivity in this game. And if you're completely new to Apex and you've rarely played it before, I would start on a 4, start around the halfway mark and then just decrease it or increase it by 1 every time until you feel comfortable. If you can increase your sensitivity while still having that good hip fire aim and movement, then I would recommend doing that, because the higher the sensitivity, the faster you can loot up, the more quicker you can turn on people. So it is better having a higher sensitivity if you can adjust to it. But in a game like Apex Legends, it's not a deal breaker and you need to be prioritizing your aim as the number 1 over anything else. So when it comes to the ADS sensitivity, as I've said throughout the last 2 or 3 minutes, you want to be prioritizing your aim. I use a 3 at the moment, and I've always used a 3 since I played Apex. I think at the very beginning I was using a 4, but I toned it down to a 3 because having a high ADS sensitivity gives absolutely no advantage at all, guys. You want to be sure with the ADS sensitivity you are using a very low sensitivity like 3. 3 is actually really perfect for me, and I personally think using a 3 sensitivity is what most FPS games use by default on their ADS sensitivity, like Call of Duty. So that's why I rock a 3, and I feel like 3 is the perfect spot. So definitely try 3 out. But as I said, with the normal sensitivity, if you feel like you need it increasing or decreasing, obviously feel free to do that. But just be aware, if you start over aiming, you're using too much of a high sensitivity. But I would just learn to adjust with a very low aiming sensitivity, because that's going to be more accurate. There's no doubt about about it, you will be more accurate using a lower sensitivity. That's just common sense. So definitely stick with about 2 to 3 sensitivity. I'd say maybe 4, but other than that, I wouldn't go any higher than that. Now, I quickly want to touch on field of view before I end the video. Now, as I'm sure most of you are aware, I was playing on PC for about a month and a half. I only switched to PS4 about a week ago when Ranked came out, but one thing I noticed on PC was the frames, and I wasn't getting any near frame drops using 110 field of view, but as soon as I switched back to the PS4, I noticed how bad the frames are when you are using 110 field of view. And if you haven't played on PC before, you won't even notice it, like I didn't notice it until I did play on PC. But something else I also noticed is that using 110 on PS4 and Xbox is really harder to spot enemies from a long distance as well. And one other thing is that I found my aim to be slightly better when I lowered it to 100. So I would recommend going for 90 or 100 field of view. I think that's the sweet spot at the moment. If you guys know a pro player called Troud, he streams daily. He actually lowered his field of view the other day. I think it was to 90, and more people are actually starting to lower it because it does help you aim slightly better. It gives you more of a vision when you are aiming down sights, aiming at enemies, and I would definitely recommend lowering it if you are using 110, or if you're using 70 or 80, I would increase it to 90 or 100. Give that a try. Let me know how you guys get on in the comment section, but this is what I'm using at the moment. This is my perfect sensitivity and field of view. Let me know what sensitivity and field of view you guys are currently rocking down below in the comment section. And as always, if you're new to the channel, you're currently not subscribed, be sure you're subscribing and hitting the bell icon so you don't miss any future Apex tips videos like this one you've seen today. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thank you all for watching this Apex Legends video. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll catch all of you guys out in another brand new Apex video. Thanks for watching.